Or I believe it was the Rich Eisen podcast. You can find it on YouTube. Just put Rich Eisen Show in. And Tony Dungy said that the Lions should bring back Jim Caldwell. Let's talk about it. Hit the subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. Appreciate the love, support. Best way to support the channel is share the video, hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. And I mean, people say, well, if Caldwell's here, this would be a playoff team. My issue is the personnel. You know, their defense kind of fell off when they got rid of Ndamukong Suh. You know, and that's the biggest issue to me. They didn't have no star power on defense. I'm not sure this team would be a playoff team because, you know, it really lacked the talent. Now, was Patricia integral in bringing Trey Flowers, Justin Coleman, Jamie Collins in? Would that have happened if, you know, Jim Schwartz was there? I don't think so. I think they would have had different players. But Bob Quinn just didn't draft good enough over the last few years for this to be a playoff team. So I disagree. I think they just didn't have the personnel to be a good team. You know, and I think most of it was with Patricia won Patriot players, but also I think the large percentage of it was 80% due to, I'm going to probably say 75% due to the lack of drafting ability by Bob Quinn. That was the biggest thing that hurt the Lions was the inability to draft. And it hurt the Pistons as well, too, over the years. They couldn't draft. And you had to draft, you had to hit on these picks. And remember, it was said that Matt Patricia didn't even want Jeff Okudah. He was looking at Derek Brown, which he ain't done much this season. We got to remember this has been an irregular season with no real training camp and no preseason and no joint practices. So, you know, as far as Tony Dungy, you know, I just don't think the GM was good enough to put a playoff product on the field. Honestly, his best pick was Kenny Galladay. And maybe Jim Caldwell can go up there and talk to him like, you know what? We need to draft this player. We need to select this player in free agency. You know, I just don't think the team talent was good enough to be a serious playoff contender or to win the NFC North with them expanding the playoffs. So I disagree with Tony Dungy that this will be a playoff team. This team just lacked a ton of talent. And then offensively, Jim Caldwell didn't want to take over the play calling. People forget that. That team, Jim Caldwell was a good coach. But then again, he didn't want to take over the play calling for the team. And that's where we struggled. The defense is pretty good. The offense just struggled with Jim Lombardi and Jim Bob Cooter and all that type of stuff. So you can't remember that there were deficiencies with Jim Caldwell. Were the players happy? Did they play better? Absolutely. But then again, Calvin Johnson left while Jim Caldwell was there, if my memory serves me correctly. So there still was a losing mentality, and it wasn't going to change unless Jim Caldwell would have got a better GM. And it's as simple as that. If Tony Dungy wants to come back, the only way I bring Jim Caldwell back if Tony Dungy come back to be the GM. And I know Tony Dungy don't want to leave his closing job at NBC where he getting paid a lot of money to talk football once a week. I get it. But then again, if you want Jim Caldwell back, come back. Tell Sheila you want the job to be general manager. They got to interview a few people. Pretty sure they'll give it to Tony Dungy from Jackson, Michigan. And you can hire Jim Caldwell back yourself. That's the only reason I take Jim Caldwell back. If I'm taking Jim Caldwell back, it's just as the capacity as a GM or as a senior advisor. Kind of like what Ed Stefanowski is to Tom Gores. That's the only way Jim Caldwell coming back. And that's just the God honest truth. Would I love Tony Dungy to come here and be the GM? Absolutely, because you know what? You know for sure him and Jim Caldwell going to be on the same court. I have some skin on my finger to pull that joint off. But yeah, you know they're going to be on the same court. And one thing we thought Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia was going to be on the same page and the same accord, and it didn't happen. So we know for a fact Jim Caldwell and Tony Dungy think alike. And it may work. And then you got to ask yourself, is Jim Caldwell healthy enough to coach in the National Football League? Because he had left a job, you know, something he was with Miami. He left that job with an illness. And he's been very active on social media, for sure. But the question is, I bring him back as a GM, or if Tony Dungy is the GM, or as a senior advisor. You know, do I think the Lions need to go in a different direction? They got to find a GM first before you talk about bringing back Jim Caldwell. Unless you're going to give Jim Caldwell the authority over being a GM and being the head coach of the Detroit Lions. And that could be a possibility. Bill O'Brien had that power. Doc Rivers had that power with the Clippers for a minute. But, you know, just think about it overall. I tell Tony Dungy this. You come back, not the senior advisor. You be the GM. You hire Jim Caldwell, and y'all bring your championship to Detroit. That's the only reason. That's only how I bring Jim Caldwell back. Or if another GM come in and say, I want Caldwell back. Tony Dungy, you got to come do the job. You know, you ain't got to be a head coach, you know what I'm saying, at all. You can come here, be the GM, pick the players. Jim Caldwell going to like the players you pick. And then maybe Jim Caldwell and Tony Dungy could bring back Peyton Manning to be a coordinator or a special consultant. And they could really put some things on the ground. Maybe you hire Bill Polian to work with Tony Dungy to show him how to be a GM. Bill Polian put a championship team together in Indianapolis, and he put 4 title chases with the Buffalo Bills, even though they lost all 4. You know, at this point, that will probably be the super team for the Lions. You know, senior advisor Calvin Johnson, Barry Sanders, GM Tony Dungy. They help Tony Dungy out. Bill Polian, and then Jim Caldwell on the field. Why not? I really don't think Tony Dungy need no help. And then there was an article that I think Terry Foster wrote that said that Tony Dungy wanted to coach the team back in the day. And the following season, they fired Wayne Fontes. So maybe that's kind of the issue with Tony Dungy, that they passed him up 20-something years ago, 30 years ago. But then again, Tony Dungy, come do the job. You're not actually to be the coach. Come be the GM. Come pick the players. Come bring back Caldwell and put a championship team. I mean, what better else legacy to leave behind for Tony Dungy? You'll be bigger than you ever was in Indianapolis. You can have a statue outside of Ford Field. You and Jim Caldwell. And I would love to know what Tony Dungy would do with this roster. I would love to know. But that's what I think should happen, to be honest. And that's just my honest opinion. You know, Tony Dungy, GM, bring back Caldwell as coach. Let's win. You know, and I think, kind of wrap it up, Caldwell still being here, they wouldn't be a playoff team. Bob Quinn just drafted too bad. So for me to bring back Jim Caldwell, Tony Dungy would have to come in and coach be GM, or another GM would have to come in and ask for Caldwell. But second half of the video, real short, Logan, the writer for the Lions, forget his last name, said that quarterback isn't a high priority for the Lions this season, and I beg to differ. It is a high priority. How can your quarterback, coming off one of the worst seasons he had in a long time, and how can the most important position in the National Football League not be a high priority? Think about that for a minute. How can the greatest position, the most important position in the National Football League not be a priority, be a top priority? I seen quarterbacks turn around whole franchises. Lamar Jackson, when Joe Flacco was there, there was a top 10 draft pick, drafting team with no hope. Lamar Jackson come in there, they become a playoff team instantly. Quarterback is very important. You can never underrate the quarterback position. And with COVID going around, the backup quarterback position was just super as important. You know, especially when your quarterback got 2 false positive. You know, so they should have drafted Justin Herbert, and then this wouldn't be an issue. But with the Lions, they need a quarterback. That's the number one thing you say. What's a lot of quarterbacks that will be out there next year? They're gonna cut Jimmy Garoppolo, Jameis Winston, Gardner Minshew. You know, you can talk about all those guys that might be there, but then again, they just bridge quarterbacks. Matthew Stafford can stay, but still, are you going to be high enough in the draft to get a top quarterback? What if Stafford retire? Do you get Fitzmagic to come here, play for 1 year, and then, tank and be bad and get a top draft quarterback the next year? Who knows? And this year, the Lions really put themselves behind the 8 ball in the coaching and the GM search by not drafting Herbert or Tua. Then these jobs would have become super attractive. So Logan is wrong there. A quarterback is always the highest priority when you don't have one. Especially when you have one that's coming off a terrible season and two injury riddled back season. So it just don't make no sense not to put priority on that. Especially when you got a hungry franchise who ain't won. And this year there's gonna probably be a few quarterbacks in there. The kid from BYU, the kid from North Dakota State, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence. There's gonna be a whole bunch of guys, coaches there. Whole bunch of teams there. Quarterbacks there. So hopefully they get high enough and they get the right guy. This ain't kind of where the Trubisky, the Mahomes, and Deshaun Watson draft. So hopefully they find a quarterback and they can groom him where he can get in and play right now. But hey, let me know what you think about Tony Dungy. Comments on Rich Eisen Show. Let me know what you guys also think about quarterback not being a high priority according to the NFL writer or the Lions writer Logan. Don't forget me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out if you have a business question, query, sponsorship, video request. All my social media links, description, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, links all there. You can reach out anytime if you have a business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video request, or you want to advertise your business on the channel. Want to make a financial donation, Cash App CJ Good 313. That's in the description. PayPal link in the description. Best way to donate is share video. Appreciate the love and support. One time for the one time. We gone.